We're in a soybean field with an AgVenture customer, planted this for us, associated with AgVenture D&M, our regional seed company that works in western Indiana and eastern Illinois. Sam is holding some plants that we dug up here. It's June 17th, and just a few things to talk about phenotypically on these soybeans. You can see on June 17th we have a flower coming in here. This is a purple flowered plant. And actually you could tell that even before the flowers come out. If you look at the lower part of the plant here, you see purpling on the stem. And so if you want to know, is this the right, am I talking about the right variety? Am I in a field that has the product I think it should be in? You know you planted a purple flowered variety. The lower stem will be mostly white on a plant that has white flowers, and you'll see the purpling that you see here on these plants if we have purple flowers, which we do indeed have. When we're staging soybeans for growth stages, we have the cotyledons. This was the seed, and those come up first and are the energy source for the plant until these roots get developed and can support the plant themselves. So we don't count these cotyledons when we're looking at vegetative growth. And then we have the unifoliate leaves. There's a pair of leaves that are identical to each other here, and you generally don't count those. We start counting these growth stages where you get to the trifoliates. They're actually trifoliolates, I believe is the correct term, where the leaf structures alternate going up the stem. So here we're at 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 emerged leaves here. We're at about V5, working on V6 with that growth point coming up there. You may have heard soybeans don't flower until the summer solstice, June 21st. Well, that's not true. We have flowers, and it's the 17th here. So we actually have plants that are advanced beyond the old thinking of how plants should develop with the newer genetics we have these days. And the sooner you plant your seed out in the field, the sooner you'll start developing flowers. What you will notice on soybean growth is when you plant, soybean growth according to planting date is like a bell curve. The sooner you plant at a reasonable time, if in this area we're out in mid to late April, that's fairly a good time to put soybeans in, and you will get plants that will grow stockier and keep those nodes closer together, because this plant knows, okay, I got in the ground in plenty of time. I don't need to rapidly grow vegetative growth here. If you were to plant a month down the road, as often happens, we get corn in the ground in this area, it rains, and the soybeans don't get put in the ground till late May, you would get plants that would actually grow taller and have more space between those nodes, as they say, hey, time is short, I really need to put on vegetative growth as quick as I can here before I start reproducing. So those are a couple things you see. We've got fairly good nodule development here, if you can see that on the camera. So with the D&M seed treatment package, we're getting excellent root development. This soil is pretty firm. There is a bit of a compaction layer right about here. But you can tell that they got this seed down at a decent depth from where it emerges at the soil line, and we're getting good active nodulation on these plants early in the season. So a couple things about early soybean growth and development. Next steps, how to care for this field during the coming summer months. I mentioned it's dry here. I think I mentioned that after a wet start. Soybean plants can weather early summer dry weather very well. And what you'll see is when the weather straightens out and we get a little more rain later on, if they missed some rapid growth during the early half of the season, they will make up for that. More so than a corn plant. Dry weather at this time of year on corn is a little more devastating to that development and overall yield potential. Soybeans can spring back to life at any time and protect themselves during the dry periods and become very productive later in the season when there's a little more rain for them to do that.